Let me ask you something. If your firm doubled in revenue next year, will that mean you're successful? Most CPA owners will say yes. But here is what David Maister discovered after studying hundreds of professional firms. The most successful firms are often not the one with the highest revenue. They are the ones which have achieved three things simultaneously. First, profitability. Second, quality of life for the owners. And third, the capacity to grow without breaking. Today we're bringing this entire series of 11 weeks together. We're talking about what a truly successful CPA firm actually looks like beyond the revenue number. And I'm going to give you a framework to measure whether you're building the right thing. Let's go. My name is Ephraim Asher, and I help CPA firm owners running 1 to 5 million firms remove themselves as bottlenecks so their firm can take on more clients and smoothly operate without them. We're in week 11, the final week of the series based on managing the professional firm, and we're bringing everything together. A quick recap of last week, week 10.5 is, we talked about leadership in a CPA firm. Even if you hate managing people, we identified the leadership misconception whereby leadership is not a personality, it's a behavior. You don't need charisma, but you do need consistency. We broke down management versus leadership. Management is execution, getting things done. Leadership is direction, the vision of the company. You need both, but leadership comes first. We covered the three leadership behaviors that matter. The first one is setting direction, making decisions, and holding people accountable. We discussed why introverts often make better leaders. They listen better, they decide more thoughtfully, and they lead through consistency. And we gave you 5 leadership behaviors to start this week. The first one was communicate the why. Don't just say do this, but say why should you do this and how and the impact it has to the firm and the person who it's been done to. The other one was make one strategic decision per week, whether it's how you're going to approach clients or how you're going to approach a new system that you're having. Hold accountability conversations. When you see things fall behind, don't just ignore it, address it. Also, block leadership time, because leadership time we discovered is not urgent but most important. And model the behavior you expect, because your actions speak way louder than your words. People are always watching, your employees are always looking at you. If you want them to stay late, stay late. If you want them to review their work diligently, also do the same. You can't ask for others what you're doing in the first place. The exercise was to pick one leadership behavior and practice for 7 days. And this week we're stepping back and asking the big question. The question that brought all of us here. What are you actually building? Because over the last 10 weeks, we covered a lot. The professional trap and why most CPA firm owners are stuck, 3 types of work and where leverage lives, how technical excellence won't scale, and how to delegate, standardize, and lead. But all of that raises one fundamental question. What does success actually look like? How do we know when we're actually there? And that's what we're defining today. The problem with revenue or the metric. So let's start with the most common definition of success. Revenue, right? Because most CPA owners measure their success by how much revenue they generate. By 500K, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, 25 million, 1 billion. And every year, the goal is to grow this top line. But here's the problem. Revenue is not success. It's a vanity metric. And here's why. You can grow revenue and still work more hours, make less profit, hate your life, and be more trapped than ever. In fact, this happens all the time. Firms grow from 1 million to 2 million, the owner hires more people, takes on more clients, and works longer hours. At the end of the year, they're exhausted, stressed, and wondering why they did this in the first place. The research is clear on this. Revenue without structural change makes you busier, not free. So if revenue isn't the right metric, what is, Asher? Well, here are three dimensions of success that you should look at this from. So the framework for professional firms has three dimensions of success. You need all three, not just one. So let me break them down for you. The first one is the first dimension of success is financial performance. This is profitability of the firm, not just revenue, profitability. You need to know first, what is your profit margin? What is your take home as an owner of the firm? What is your profit per partner, per owner if you have multiple owners? What is the return on your time and capital? A successful firm is profitable, not just busy. And profitability comes from 1. Serving the right clients, 2. Pricing appropriately, 3. Operating efficiently, and 4th, building leverage. And this is the foundation. Without profitability, nothing else works. But profitability alone is not success. The second dimension is quality of life. And this is the one most CPAs ignore. No, they sacrifice everything for financial performance, take on 70-hour plus work weeks. They never take vacations. But they always stress. And they tell themselves, you know what? Once the firm is bigger, I'll slow down. But they never do. They're always grinding, which is good, but they do it unintentionally because the firm is designed to require them. A successful firm gives the owner quality of life, time for family, hobbies, time for rest, ability to take a real vacation, not doing work once you're on the beach, freedom from constant interruptions, optionality, the choice to work or not. And research shows that the firms that demand 70-hour weeks from partners are not successful. They are extraction engines. They extract value from the owner until there's nothing left. You see, quality of life is not a luxury. Quality of life is a dimension of success. And the last dimension here, the third one, is institutional strength. And this is the one nobody measures, because institutional strength is, can the firm function without you? Do you have a system that ensures quality? Do you have people who can lead? Is the firm valuable? Could you sell it if you wanted to? A firm with high institutional strength has documented processes, has trained capable people, has clients who trust the firm, not just the owner, has a culture that attracts, a culture that retains talent. And this is what makes a firm an asset. An asset being, by definition, as you know, CPA, as a thing that has future economic value, a thing that put money in your pocket, right? So this is what makes a firm an asset, not instead of a job. And most CPA owners never build this. They build revenue and work themselves to death. They never build an institution, but they never build an institution. So the principle is here. The principle here is simple, right? A successful firm is the one that creates value for its owners without consuming them. Okay, now let's go. Let's visualize this. So what's the success matrix for this? So imagine a firm with high financial performance, low quality of life, and low institutional strength. This is the grind firm. These are the hustlers. The owner makes good money, but they're trapped. They work constantly. The firm cannot function without them. This is where most CPA owners end up. Now imagine a firm with high financial performance, high quality of life, and high institutional strength. This is the freedom firm. The owner here makes good money. They have time and options. Their firm works without them. And this is what you're probably trying to build if you're watching this video. And the key insight here is, you don't have to sacrifice quality of life to achieve financial performance. You have to build institutional strength, and that creates both. When you build systems, leverage, and leadership, first you make more money because you're not capped at your capacity. You have people to help you. You have more time because the firm doesn't need you daily. You have more options because the firm is valuable. all three dimensions improve together, but only if you design for all three. Not just revenue, if you design for all three. So let's get tactical. So what do you actually measure? If you're going to design a successful firm, you need to measure the right things. So here are the metrics that actually matter. First metric, profit margin, not just revenue, profit margin. What percentage of revenue do you keep as profit? The industry benchmark for CPAs is 20 to 30% net profit margin. So if you're below 20, you have a profitability problem. You either underpricing, serving unprofitable clients, operating inefficiently, or overstaffed or understaffed. Fix this fast, because profit is what funds everything else. The second metric is owner time allocation. How are you spending your time? Track for 1 week and calculate what is the percentage of professional work that should be decreasing over time. What is the percentage of managerial work? This should be 30 to 40%. And what's the percentage of leadership or ownership work? And this should be 20 to 30%. And if you're spending more on 50, and if you're spending more than 50% on professional work, you're not functioning as an owner. You're functioning as a senior accountant with equity. Yes. The third metric is the leverage ratio. How many people work for each partner or owner? So the leverage ratio, we've discussed all of these concepts in the previous videos, whereby it's the number of staff divided by the number of partners. So the benchmark here is you have 1 staff to 1 partner or 3 staff to 1 partner. That's low leverage. Healthy leverage is 4 staff to 1 partner or 6 staff to 1 partner. That's good. High leverage is 7 to 1 and above. If your leverage is below 3 to 1, you're working too hard for the revenue you generate. You need to hire, and once you hire, learn how to delegate. And we covered all of this, and it will all be summarized in this video, and also I'll link the playlist so that you can watch through it. It's so much value, it's just wonderful. The fourth metric is the realization rate. How much of the bill time do you actually collect? So the realization rate is the revenue collected divided by the revenue billed multiplied by 100. The benchmark is 90%. If you're below 90%, you have a pricing or scope problem. You're either discounting too much, writing off time, or doing extra work for free. This is leaving money on the table. You can do better. You deserve more money, more profitability. The other metric is client concentration. What percentage of revenue comes from your top 5 clients? Benchmark is less than 30%. Because if more than 30% of your revenue comes from your top 5 clients, you have a concentration risk. Losing 1 client could destabilize your firm. Diversify. Sixth is owner vacation stays. Yes, I like this one. So how many days did you take off last year where you were completely disconnected? Benchmark at least like 20 days, like at least a month, 4 weeks, 4 full weeks. If you took fewer than 10 days off, or if you work during your vacation, you don't have a farm, you have a job. And this metric tells you whether you've built institutional strength. Can you step away and come back and your farm is still whole, it's growing? Can you? The last metric is that decision bottleneck. How many decisions require you personally? Track 1 for 1 week. How many times did someone ask for your approval on something? How many decisions could you only make? If the answer is dozens, well, I'm afraid to say, but you're the bottleneck, and the firm can't scale beyond your capacity. So let's then put this into context. Let's then describe, okay, what are the 5 stages for a farm? And let's take you through from the farm's inception till its completion. So Yeah, most CPA owners go through these 5 stages, and let me show you where you are, and where you're going. So the first stage is the solo practice, and this is where everyone starts. Just you, or maybe just one assistant, and doing everything. You are the firm. Your revenue may be 100 to 300k. Characteristics are you're the only producer, no leverage, high quality of life because you control everything, but capped revenue. This is not a farm, it's just a practice. But then now you have a small farm whereby you now hire a few people, 2 to 5 employees, revenue 300k to 1 million. So you're still doing most of the technical work, right? But you're managing people for the first time. The quality of life starts declining because now you have more responsibility, yet still working the same hours or even more. Revenue grows, but so does complexity. And here, this is the danger zone because most owners get stuck here. They hire people but don't delegate, or if they do delegate, they don't know how to delegate. So they just add management work on top of professional work, and the wheels start spinning. They start to burn out, right? Then now the third stage is the transition form. Here's whereby you're trying to scale, but you haven't built the systems yet. You have 5 to 15 employees. Revenue can be like 1 to 2.5, 3, 4, 5 ish. And characteristics, you're overwhelmed. Decision bottlenecks are at you. Quality is inconsistent. Profitability is mediocre, really. And you're working harder than ever. This is where farms fail. Because the owner is still acting like a senior accountant instead of a farm builder. They haven't made the shift to managerial and leadership work, and the farm collapses under its own weight. To get past this stage, we need 4 things. First, standardized processes, effective delegation, leadership and direction, and systems that work without you. And this is everything that we've covered in this series, and this is what I help you do. I help you go from a transition farm to an establishing farm, to prevent the farm collapsing under its own weight because of these characteristics here. The fourth stage is the established farm, whereby now, okay, you've used our services at Chazara Consulting, and now you've built the systems. You have 15 to 30 employees, revenue is 2.5 and up, and characteristics are processes are documented, teams can execute without you. Profitability is strong, you have 25 to 35% margins, you're spending most of your time on leadership and strategy. Your quality of life returns. And this is where freedom begins. The farm doesn't need you daily. You have options. You can work less or grow more or both. You choose what you want to do. And the last stage is the scalable farm. Here, you've built an institution. You have 30 plus employees, possibly even multiple partners. Revenues 5 million plus. Characteristics are the farm runs without you. Multiple leaders who can make decisions. Strong culture and systems. High profitability, high value, and it's sellable. This is the goal for many, but you don't have to get here. Stage 4 might just be the perfect fit for you. The point is, success. Success is not about reaching a certain revenue number. It's not about I'm not going to build a 500 million farm per month or $26 billion farm. It's about building a farm that gives you what you want, whether that's freedom, wealth, impact, or all of three. So defining success for your farm, and this is one of the most important exercises in this series. Define what success then looks like for you. What does success mean for you? Not for someone else, not according to the industry standard, not according to what other people have done. What does success look like for you? Ask yourself, what do I actually want? Do you want to maximize revenue, profit, time freedom, have a sellable asset, have a lifestyle practice, have a legacy farm? The good thing is that there's no wrong answer because you have to choose, but you can't optimize for everything. Second question is, what will success feel like? Paint the picture. How many hours per week are you working? How much are you taking home? How much Are you involved in day-to-day operations? What kinds of clients are you serving? What does your team look like? Get specific. Because if you can't describe success, you can't build towards it. Think of yourself as the master architect, and you're creating this grand mansion, and you've been given this blueprint and you're creating this blueprint. You have to give the contractor something to work on, otherwise he will know what your dream is, right? He will be able to help you realize it, because they could build anything. So specificity gives you the direction, the clarity into leading you in a particular direction. What does your team look like? Third question is, what am I willing to trade? See, every choice has trade-offs. You could sleep or you could wake up. You could eat or you could not. If you want to maximize revenue, you might sacrifice some time freedom. If you want to maximize time freedom, you might need to accept slower revenue growth. If you want a sellable asset, you need to invest in systems and people development. The key is, make the trade-offs consciously. Don't drift to them by default. The fourth question that you need to ask yourself is, what needs to change? Now, compare where you are right now to where you want to be. What's the gap? Maybe you're generating good revenue, but working 60-hour weeks. The gap is, you need to build leverage in systems. Maybe you have time freedom but low profitability. The gap here is, you need better clients and better pricing. Maybe you have both revenue and time, but the firm can't function without you. The gap is, you need to develop leaders and institutional strength. Identify the gap, then work backwards to close it. It's like going to the gym. Say if you want to get like huge arms or 6 pack, identify, okay, this is what I want. This is my dream body or my dream car, my dream life. Then work back towards it. And bringing all of this together, this entire full series is 11 weeks ago. We started with the professional trap. Most CPA owners are stuck working in their business instead of on it because their firm is organized around them. And over the 11 weeks, we've built a solution. In the first month in January, we identified the professional trap. The 3 types of work in week 2, whereby we talked about the professional work, the managerial work, and the leadership work. And in week 3, we went now to discuss why leverage matters more than hours, and how you have a high leverage firm and low leverage firm. And week 4, we discussed why technical excellence alone won't scale, because the capstone there was, being the best CPA in the firm does not help you. Your job is not to be the best CPA, but to have a firm full of the best CPAs. And here we learn to see the structure of the problem. Then, in month 2, we build the systems, the partner mindset shift, delegation that actually works, in telling people why they delegate, how to, like, you have 2 people, you have the people, the task doers and the professionals. Some people just want the task, just tell them the task and they'll get it done. Others want the outcome of the task and want to figure out their own approach. Learning to identify these 2 types of individuals, very crucial into managing people. The other one, we talked about how to standardize without killing quality, and the hidden cost of doing everything yourself. You learn to design a firm that doesn't need you. In month 3, we focused on growth. We focused on people and clients, managing professional firms. We talked about in week 9, managing professionals who are smarter than you. Then in week 10, we talked about pricing, profitability, and say no. In week 10.5, we discussed leadership, even if you hate managing people. And you learned how to build a firm that attracts talent and serves the right clients. Now we're in week 11, and we're defining what you're actually building, because all of the systems, all of the leverage, all of the leadership, it only matters. It only matters if it's moving you toward the success that you want. Think about you entering a Rolls Royce and cruising down the highway. You're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I mean, this amazing car going at like this car has so much history from its wheels till the angel. But it's useless if the car is not it's useless if the car is not taking you where you want to go. If you're going north and the car is going south, it's pointless. You'll rather walk or take a plane or something because the car is not helping you. So all of these things matter only if it's going where you want it to go. And that principle ties everything together, whereby a successful farm is the one that creates value for its owners without consuming them. And that's the goal. And in everything in this series has been about designing a farm that achieves that. So your next steps is after this thing, make it actionable. So here's what to do after this series. 1. Define your version of success. Use the questions from part 6. Write down what you want, what success looks like, what trade-offs you're willing to make, what needs to change. This is your North Star. Don't forget your North Star. Everything will revolve around it. Whether you go east, go west, you always referring back to north. For example, like if I'm going to a place and I'm using Google Maps, yes, I could adjust my route along the way, but as I'm adjusting, I'm referring to the main thing. Step 2, measure where you are today. Calculate the 7 metrics: profit margin, owner time allocation, leverage ratio, realization rate, client concentration, vacation days, decision bottlenecks. This is your baseline. Because once you have this, you can like, okay, I grew from this to this. If I'm exercising, right, and I'm doing push-ups or I'm doing playing, if I'm doing push-ups, I could say first day of push-ups, I was able to do 5 push-ups. Okay. Day 2, my baseline then increases. Then over a month, I can see, okay, compared to where I started, I used to do 5, now I can do 100 in a single set. No stopping. Step 3, pick one area to improve on this quarter. Don't try to fix everything at once. That's a recipe for disaster. Pick one, understand it, change it, let it work, then pick another. Build leverage, whereby you hire and delegate, improve profitability, reprice or release clients. Create systems, standardize one process, develop leadership, practice one behavior consistently. Focus on one area for 90 days. Make real progress, then move on to the next. Step 4 is revisit this series. This series is a framework, not a checklist. You won't implement everything in 11 weeks, but if you can revisit quarterly and ask, which week's content is most relevant to me where I am right now? What's the one thing I should focus on this quarter? Use it as a roadmap. Step 5 is get help if you need it. If you're running a farm doing 1 to 5 million and you're ready to remove yourself as the bottleneck, that's exactly what I help with at Chisara Consulting. I work with CPA farm owners to build systems, to develop leaders and create farm that operates smoothly without them. If that's you, reach out. I'll drop my LinkedIn below. You can follow me and just text me. My company and I just willing to pour into you to help you move to help your farm grow. So, but whether you work with me or not, the principles in the series will serve you. So let's lock in what we covered. We talked about week 11, what a successful CPA farm looks like, the problem with revenue. Revenue is a vanity metric. You can grow revenue and still be trapped, exhausted, and unprofitable. Success is not about how much you make, it's about what kind of farm you build. 3 dimensions of success: financial performance, profitability, not just revenue, quality of life, time freedom and optionality. Then institutional strength, can the farm function without you? You need all three, not just one. Then farm, the success metric is the grind farm. Here you have high revenue, low quality of life, low institutional strength, and this is where most farms end up. Now the freedom farm is high revenue, high quality of life, and high institutional strength, and this is what you're building towards. So the 7 metrics that actually matter: your profit margin, 20 to 30% is your benchmark. Your owner time allocation, at least 20 to 30% of ownership work. Leverage ratio is at least 4 to 1 or 6 to 1. That's a healthy benchmark that you should be aiming for. The realization rate, 90% benchmark. Your client concentration, less than 30% from your top 5 clients. Vacation days, at least fully disconnect for 20 days. 20 days without thinking about your business. 20 days just relaxing, getting time to see a new perspective on life. So that with these new experiences, you're able to come and basically become a better owner, become a better partner, become a better leader at your firm. Then decision bottlenecks. They should get fewer and fewer over time. The 5 stages of farm maturity is the solo practice from 100 to 10k, the small farm from 20 to 1 million. The easy transition, the transition farm from 1 to 2.5. Established farm is from 2.5 to 5 million, and the scalable farm is 5 million and above. Your full institution farm, and I help you take your farm from transition to established and refurbish the established farm. Now, define your version of success. Ask yourself, okay, I've done all this, but what do I actually want? What will success feel like? What am I willing to trade and what needs to change? So bring it all together. Month 1, you learn to see the problem, the trap, the work types, the leverage, the technical limits. Month 2, you learn to build the solution, the mindset shift, the delegation, the standardization, the opportunity cost. Month 3, you learn to grow sustainably, managing talent, pricing, and leadership. And in this last week, you learn to define what you're building towards. The core principle here is a successful firm is one that creates value for its owners without consuming them. And that's what you're building. A firm that grows, a firm that creates value without consuming you. It's a lot in 11 weeks. But the truth is, knowledge without action is just entertainment. I'm just a person talking to you about consulting and about improving your firm. And you just probably look at me on your device, then click next. This is stuff that you know, but it doesn't really matter what you know. I learned something that knowledge is power. Also, I thought, then I learned again that knowledge is not power. No, knowledge is never power. Knowledge is a potential type of power. It's only power when that knowledge is translated into action. You could know how to make a nuclear bomb, but that doesn't count until you actually make the nuclear bomb, right? You could know how to fix your car. If your car is broken or something, you could know how to fix it. But until you do, the problem still exists. So knowledge is a potential type of power. You need to actually translate that power into reality for it to be effective. So let this not just be entertainment. I could help you transform that knowledge into power that is actually effective for you and for your firm. So now you have the framework. You know why you're stuck, what needs to change, how to build systems, how to develop people, how to lead, and what success actually looks like. The question is, what will you do with it? You have all of this laid out for you. What are you going to do with it? My challenge to you is, pick one thing from the series. Not everything, just one thing. And implement it this week. Maybe it's tracking your time to see where it goes, delegating one task that you've been doing yourself, standardizing one process, having one accountability conversation, repricing one underpriced client, blocking 3 hours for ownership work. Just one thing, because this is how change happens. Big things are small things done consistently. Big things are just small things done consistently. Not through massive overhauls, through small, consistent actions that compound over time. You don't need to rebuild your entire farm this month. You just need to take the next step. And then the next. And then the next. And then the next. And over time, you look back and realize, wow, man, oh my goodness. You've actually built something that works without you. You've created a farm that serves you instead of consuming you. And that's success. That's it. You've built what you've been wanting to build. Whether you began CPA, whether you wanted to be a CPA from school, or whether you were inspired by a CPA, or whether you just said, you know what, let me try out this thing. You actually built what you wanted to go and do. Created a farm that works, that serves you instead of consuming you. That's success. Now, thank you for watching this series. I'm a bit sentimental that it's now over. I will have to move on now. Now, as I said, it only matters what you're going to do with it. I look forward to seeing you build your farm. And that's all that matters. Because the more successful people there are in the world, the more inspired other people get. It's like this wheel of positive reinforcement. If this series helped you, share it with another CPA who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to actually implement this, reach out. I'll leave my LinkedIn down below, whereby you can just reach out and we could schedule a call and move forward from there. I'd love to help. So right now, go build your farm, and I'll see you at the top.